This gentleman here sitting, this is James Williams III. That's it? Two kinds of gracious for his presence today. We have the release of the new Batman Volume 1 Hydrology over there. It's on sale for $19.95, lower than MSRP. We have a great raffle today, and we'll be taking some questions here. We've got submitted to the internet from you, and we've got a lot of fun with this. David, you want to start us off with James, please?
No, this is good.
This is good? All right. Let's go ahead and hit the questions here. Let's start with the class one initially, just kind of ease our way into it. This one comes from Secret Victory on Reddit. His or her question is how many hours a day are spent arting?
All of them, practically. Yeah, it's such an organic process that it doesn't really stop. I mean, yeah, I might be drawing for only 8 to 10 hours, but the mind is constantly going, so it's almost 24/7. She can attest to it. It's practically insane. It can drive someone insane, probably, being around me for that period of time.
So. Yeah, I mean, physical drawing, he does between 40 and 60 hours. And he's constantly working.
Yeah. Have you heard of it?
Oh no, this is going to be heard on the camera.
Oh, okay.
But we have this person has a follow-up question. One of them was, do you have a spouse? So I think we answered that.
Yes.
But they also want to know, like, they also ask, is it difficult having such an intensive job and balancing work and social obligation?
Yes, very much, because a lot of times it'd be amazing how difficult it is for me to just be able to pick up and go see a movie, because my schedule is all over the place, and a lot of times when I go to a movie, I go with a movie friend, whatever, so I have to worry about this schedule too. And the deadline problems, come into play when you have stuff has to be done by a certain time. So, something cool comes up, like up in the city at a concert or whatever, I can't just pick up and go or anything like that. Or sometimes I can't really plan for it either, because I have to make sure I have allotted the right amount of time to get the work done. So it can be very problematic.
All right, we're going on to our next question then. This is for Robotic Dog on Reddit. You're very popular on Reddit, though, They asked, and this is getting a little more, we're segueing into the wacky questions. Is Kate King modeled on certain lesbians? By the way, I'm supposed to thank you for drawing DC's hottest couple.
No, she's not. She's not based on any one person that I know or anything like that. So,
okay. Let's see here. Here's another one that's kind of it's getting a little more off the side here. Jen M from Facebook asks, if you had to cosplay as any character for material you have not worked on, who would it be and why?
and why? I don't know if I can answer that.
You said wacky.
I don't know. I've never thought about cosplay for myself. Miracle Man with a beard. Alan Moore's Miracle Man with a beard. Yeah, maybe a character out of Asgard. You can see that. I got the beard going. Might be a little awkward though with glasses. Can't see without them.
Very cool.
Kind of going back to that though, I mean, like, for Halloween, I always want to dress up for Halloween, but I have glasses and it's like, I can't even put on a cool mask for Halloween.
I feel your pain.
Yeah, I'm like literally, I consider technically blind without these glasses. So.
We got one from the audience here, from Adam M. in Stockton, California. He has a more kind of technical question regarding comic books. In writing Batwoman, what is your approach to dictating the art in the script?
I'm not sure I understand the question specifically.
like when you, so you're writing Batwoman, and when you present the script to an artist, do you have a approach that you take with that?
Not anything in particular. I just try to write the sort of script that I would like to see for myself. Based on the experiences I've had with some of the writers I've had. I've been fortunate to work with some of the best writers in the industry. And, after working with someone like Alan Moore for 6 years and seeing his scripts, that was inevitable to rub off on me. I can't not look at script writing without thinking about how those scripts impacted me when I was having to work on them. So, the scripts are kind of moved more towards that mentality, so it can be pretty detailed. I've seen some more recent scripts from other current writers today, and they're very pared down, it seems like, from what I have been brought up on in my career. So I've had word from DC, people in DC that my scripts are kind of dense in terms of how much information is in there, but they don't seem to be worried about it. It's just the way I write, and a lot of that comes from the stuff I've learned from the people I've worked with. So.
Awesome. Let's get another kind of off-the-wall one here. This one goes for our audience. Actually, our own Stephanie here in the Poison Ivy costume. She wants to ask, what is your favorite urban legend and why?
I'd probably have to say the one that we used for Batwoman, the Weeping Woman urban legend. It's one of the ones that seems to be, immediately, it's not the most monstrous urban legend, even though what she does is quite monstrous. Stealing and drowning other people's children is pretty horrific. But she doesn't come across as this, it's not like this beastly character or the Game of the Sewers thing or whatever like that. And so, there's kind of a more, the reasons for her existence are much more compelling, I think. There's like the deep sadness and emotional context to the character and the legend that I think a lot of the other urban legends seem to lack. So that's probably what drew us to using that idea for the first story in Battle.
We'll move into the Batman question. This one comes from Look and See on Reddit, and they ask, do you have any plans to bring Batwoman more fully into the DC Dark line, so like the cult character,
Right.
with the new 52 universe? He seems to be the only member of the Bat family that consistently mingles with occult forces, and I'd love to see her meet Animal-Man or Frankie.
Yeah, I mean, those are all characters we love, and it'd be awesome to actually get them to interact with each other at some point. There's no direct plans. We're still really heavily focused on developing Batwoman and what her relationships are and how they play out in her life. As the character continues to thrive and hopefully the series goes on and on and on, that we'll get a lot more opportunities for those kinds of interactions. But at the same time, as cool as those kinds of interactions would be, in some ways are a bit expected. Me and my writing partner tend to be more interested in trying to pair up characters that you might not expect to be paired up together, which I think that ultimately can say a lot more about the main character in their story than trying to pair them up with somebody whose circumstances are similar, or foes are similar in nature. You can gain a lot of information and character growth by having them go, alongside somebody that you never expect to see.
We have another one here. This is from Angela L. on Facebook, and she asked, what was your favorite comic book growing up?
Well, that's kind of tough question. The comic that got me into wanting to do comics was Micronauts from Marvel Comics, done by Bill Manuel and Michael Golden. That was the sole reason that made me want to do comics growing up. When I was a kid, I was obsessed with the toys called Micronauts toys, which were being put out over here at the time. And I would read comics, but I never gave them much thought. I was like, oh, cool, here's a Spider-Man comic, I'll do that or whatever. nothing really super excited me until I saw a Micronauts comic for the first time. And I was so obsessed over the toys that I had to read the comic, and the comic was unlike any comic I had been exposed to previously. It didn't talk down to me. It was smart. It brought some different themes that you didn't normally see. It was more science fiction based. The artwork was so interesting and unlike anything I'd seen before that I ended up poring over every detail of that comic and fell in love with it. And that's when I first really discovered that his name's attached to this stuff other than Stan Lee's ink for a Marvel comic. And I'm like, oh, and so I completely got obsessed with these people. And I ended up telling some friends of mine who read comics, I'm like, oh, you gotta see this comic. And so they're like, oh, if you like that, you have to see this other comic called Uncanny X-Men from Marvel. And that was around the time that X-Men was super, super hot after being considered a dead property for a long time. And that was when Claremont and John Byrne and Dave Cockrum had taken it over and completely made it the powerhouse that we know today. And I saw that comic, and it was just as captivating as the Micronauts comic, but for completely different reasons. And from that point on, I'm like, well, I've been drawing all my life. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be a comic artist. And I was like, I don't know, maybe eight years old, and I made that decision. And then from that point on, I just kept discovering more and more comics. Like, I can easily get obsessed with stuff. So at the time I lived in the Bay Area, so I had really cool exposure to some very diverse comics, all the way from Jack Kirby's Eternals was one of my favorites, Jack Kirby's Humanity was one of my favorites, all the way to Mobius, Blueberry stuff, from Europe. So I had some really great exposure to some early stuff that I would consider like all-time classics favorites that I have on my shelf.
The next one, kind of a general one, we got about 4 or 5 people asking about this. This is kind of news too. They want to ask about the Sword album you're working with. You say you announced you came out with the Sword as a new album, and then Jay from the third will be working on the album cover and art. So they wanted the question to compile it was, how closely are you working with the band? Are you only doing the cover? And the most important one, obviously, is, will there be a Sword t-shirt designed by Jay Philip III?
I'm working very closely with the band, more so the singer. I mean, the band seems to have input that kind of goes through the singer to me, so like anything I show the singer, he takes to them, but everything has to be sort of approved by them. I'm not going to be able to, just do whatever and expect it to come out that way. So it's very much a collaborative effort in terms of what they want is what I want to give them. But at the same time, they're open to my ideas and suggestions on what I'd like to try to do. And doing so far really, really easy and comprehending what I'm telling them and seem to really like it. But what's cool for me is that it's sort of going to be the result of getting an album cover that's different than the previous albums that they've had before, so that's fantastic. Yet it's still a little bit different than what people might expect from me, if they were just looking at just my background work. It's going to be different. As far as other stuff for the album, I'm actually involved in every piece of art for the album, not just the cover, but the back cover, all peripheral pieces, there's going to be an inside cover, every detail, all the way down to the CD and vinyl label. I'm designing that. We're actually talking about, if possible, getting the vinyl to be on like hot molten orange. We'll see if we can actually make that happen. That'd be pretty awesome. As far as t-shirts, it all depends on whether the graphics I turn in for them, if they can see components of it that would look good on a t-shirt. I'm hoping that, they'll see pieces that will look good on a t-shirt that this is approved for me as far as I'm concerned. But we'll see how that all turns out.